Point of view. It influences every second of our stories, and yet it's rarely ever talked about. What is point of view? Why does it matter? Whose POV should tell our stories? What happens if we see something that isn't from any character's point of view? Well, I've got some opinions on this, but keep in mind this is all just my point of view. Hi, I'm Jonathan Stokes, and this is Raising the Stakes, Essays About Story. Let's get into it. Some stories are only told from one character's point of view. If there's a single protagonist, we usually only see and hear what that one character experiences. Lots of biopics are told from one POV. Mysteries are often told from one POV, as we never want the audience to get ahead of the detective. Your number of POV characters will usually be determined by genre. For instance, rom-coms will typically have 2 POVs, like Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, or Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Lopez, or Matthew McConaughey and SJP. Really, 2 POVs is good for any movie where one character is pursuing another. Buddy cop movies are two-handers, but usually get 3 POVs, because you also want to know what the bad guys are up to. Horror movies will often get 3 or more POVs, because you want to follow 1 or 2 protagonists, plus a little bit of the monster's perspective. That's right, your monster often gets a POV, even if it's a shark, so that we can witness non-POV characters getting killed. Some movies get into lots of POV characters. To corral them all, these are often ensemble movies united around a common theme. It could be love or race. But because of the many POVs, these types of movies often need to be organized into chapters. Disaster movies usually need a bunch of POVs to cover all the action. So we can see, say, the Earth under attack from lots of vantage points. Lots of vantage points. The same is true for intricate plots, like a heist movie. Stories about historical events often need lots of POVs. Tolstoy needs lots of POVs in War and Peace because he's trying to cover the Napoleonic Wars, which covers a huge landscape. Some stories are so complex, the storyteller will abandon POV and choose to go omniscient. You may think Die Hard is from Bruce Willis's point of view, but really, we can go anywhere. We can see what Hans is up to, or Theo, or Holly, or Harry, or Al, or the deputy chief, or these 2 dudes, or even the limo driver. Omniscience is a valid choice here, partly because Die Hard is essentially a disaster movie, like a Towering Inferno, where we are covering one event.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Movies with a storyteller can go omniscient, tracking lots of different characters.
Down upon thee with great vengeance and furious...
Tarantino movies often imply a storyteller, allowing us to see the vantage points of non-POV characters. The record number of POVs that I'm aware of is Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, which jumps into gazillions of POVs, even jumping into the head of Laska the dog in 2 chapters. Modern authors call this head hopping, and when transitions get confusing, it's a big no-no. Some authors like Tom Perrotta can juggle a lot of characters brilliantly. Max Brooks also springs to mind. Authors and TV writers have more real estate to track a bunch of characters, but I believe that in movies, it's often best to use the fewest POVs possible to tell your story. Why? Because the amount we care about each character will usually be a function of their screen time, so you generally want your denominator to be as low as possible. For example, if your movie has only 1 POV character, we'll probably really invest in them. But if your movie has a lot of characters, you're diluting audience investment in each character. For my money, an even more important rule of thumb is choose only the POVs that will best tell your story. Let's stick with The Lord of the Rings. In J.R.R. Tolkien's book series, he limits our POV to 4 hobbits. That's it. These Shire-bound hobbits have never explored Middle-earth, and neither have we. So we share in their terror and in their wonder. In the books, Aragorn, Gandalf, These are all mysterious figures to us. We can only guess at their thoughts and motives, looking up at them from a hobbit's eye view. So we experience Middle-earth with a constant sense of awe and mystery. But in the movies, Peter Jackson goes full Tolstoy, omnisciently jumping into any POV he likes. Aragorn isn't an inscrutable stranger anymore. We're privy to his innermost thoughts as he pines for Arwen. Gandalf isn't away on unknown quests anymore. We're right there watching wizard fights. We're not experiencing the horror of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields from the Hobbit's perspective anymore. We're head-hopping around the entire battlefield. And I think it's debatable if Jackson's choice is stronger than Tolkien's. Imagine, if you will, if the Harry Potter movies abandoned J.K. Rowling's third-person limited point of view that only ever followed Harry, and instead allowed us to see what Dumbledore was up to the whole time, or Severus, or Malfoy, or Rita Skeeter, or Dobby, or anyone else. If we could head hop like Peter Jackson does, the series would lose its sense of mystery, wouldn't it? J.K. Rowling is so disciplined about POV that when she decides we need to start tracking what Voldemort is up to, she only does it through Harry's psychic visions. J.K. Rowling's narrative choice is a powerful one. We're so locked into Harry's third-person limited POV that when our narrative surrogate appears to die, a little piece of us dies with him. We feel this loss profoundly, and far more profoundly than if we had had a zillion other POV characters that we could jump into. Now, some people may like Peter Jackson's choice to break with Tolkien and go omniscient. My point is really that POV choices have a profound impact on your story, and must be taken very seriously and very deliberately. So the next time you're writing, be judicious with the number of POV characters you add.
It's embarrassing.
And if you have too many, remember, it's always okay to cut.